Hi, everybody. I'm Kim Dryden. I am with PAC-B TV, and we are here today with Joy Swenson for an Ask the Expert piece. And we are going to talk to Joy today about how to prepare your garden for winter. So, Joy, could you start by introducing yourself?
Yes, hi. I'm in the garden club, and I've been in Baldwinsville for over 30 years, and I've gardened pretty much the whole time. A lot of it just learning by reading books and experimentation. So, and some suggestions from other garden people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
You're welcome.
All right, so right now, the weather is starting to turn, unfortunately. Still kind of nice out, but as we are headed towards the middle of October, what should gardeners be doing to prepare their garden for winter?
Well, what I have been doing, number one, peonies are the most important thing that usually you want to have those cut down end of September, first part of October. I think what that does is it helps any kind of disease that might be on the plant, and it keeps the plants healthier.
Okay.
And dahlias, if you plant dahlias, you can dig those up. Usually you want to do it maybe right around frost, which I don't think we've gotten yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we got a frost, it's not going to hurt the bulbs because they're underground. But that would be about the time you'd want to dig those up if you want to overwinter them. And one of the things about dahlias that I think is confusing is how do you overwinter them? You know, I've tried all kinds of things. You can put them in a pot with sawdust or wood shavings, etc., in your basement.
Mm-hmm.
But something that's worked really well is if you put them in just a pot with dirt and put them in your basement in the coldest part of the basement, that seems to work. And even if the bulb shrivels up and looks weird, I didn't know for years that it was still good.
Yeah.
And I used to like throw them out thinking, well, this is all shriveled up. Well, a lot of times they're still alive. So experimentation on that.
Got it.
Because they cost quite a bit
Yeah.
to buy new. And I would say lavender, which I really like.
Yeah.
I've read that you shouldn't cut that down until spring because I think what happens is the plant kind of protects the root area with the leaves. And then the other thing is hostas. Some of those get, once they start shriveling up, they get like lettuce that's all ruined.
Mm-hmm.
So those you might want to cut down. You don't have to cut everything down in your garden though all at once, because some of it you might want to leave for birds and insects throughout the winter.
Yeah, I have read from Habitat Gardening for local wildlife, it can be beneficial to them to leave some plants up. So what are some of the plants that maybe can help these birds and insects get through the winter that we shouldn't play with too much?
Especially coneflowers and black-eyed Susans, because they have all those seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go outside in a little bit, and I'll show you what some of that looks like. And there's just a lot of things that might have seeds, like asters might be something that you might leave up. I'm not really sure all what they do eat, but they're even eating them now. So
Yep.
I do leave a lot of things up through the winter.
Yeah, I've even read, I think, in their newsletter that leaving up like tomato plants, even though they look so sad, just gives like insects a place to hang out for the winter and can kind of provide
Right.
a little bit of protection.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I've read that if you can have like a pile somewhere on the edge of the property where you like pile your leaves and
Mm-hmm.
sticks, that's for animals and insects too.
Right, right. Give them a place to be.
Hmm.
So anything else that we should be doing now as we're kind of close to the middle of October?
I'm always looking at the bushes to see if like there's crossed branches on trees that might need to be
Okay.
taken off.
Yeah.
I do look at that, but also even into the winter I go out, like even if I have to wear snowshoes, I think it's kind of fun to go out and see what the structure is without the leaves on it. And then you can see if something needs to be taken off.
Mm. Gotcha. What about later in the season as we get closer to November? What should we be thinking about putting on our to-do list for the garden then?
I would say you could even start thinking about if you want to plant bulbs for the spring. So that could be now into the end of October, even November. You could do that. You could even really, this is the best time to plant new bushes and trees if you need any.
Really,
Get
as
them in.
opposed to spring
Yeah.
even?
Yeah. They recommend fall. As spring's fine too, but fall is actually better. I think the cooler, there's no sun burning the plants. You can still water them, but you don't have to worry about drought as much.
Right, right. Okay, great. Anything else for later in the season?
If there's a lot of leaves on the lawn in an area that you don't want to die, you might need to mow and rake a little bit, but try to leave some on the edges for insects and other creatures if you can. Even if you could even like make your lawn smaller if that works for your neighborhood.
Right, right. Like leave some areas wild for wildlife.
Right.
Yeah.
Out near the road, we have like maybe 40 feet where we don't even mow anything, and all these asters and goldenrod come up, and we just leave it, and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's good for the insects and the birds.
Yeah, we have a field right next to our house that I can look out into right now, and it's full of goldenrod and all kinds of other stuff. And there's deer out there every morning and lots of birds that seem to quite enjoy it.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's very nice.
Yeah. Any other tips and tricks you want to share before we go into the garden tour part?
No, I can't think of anything right off the top of my head.
Okay, well, I think you've given us quite a good list to work from. I know I've been taking notes along the way.
Oh, good.
Got to get to those peonies, apparently. So thank you so much for sharing all of those.
Okay.
And yeah, let's go take a look at your garden.
All right. Hey, thank you.
Okay, so now we are with Joy outside in her garden. So Joy, what are we looking at?
This is a small part of the garden where I just like to try to plant things that the insects and the birds might like, and people might like to see it. This is all gone for the year, but this was, you can see the one flower down here, Shasta Daisy. So this was all Shasta Daisy. This purple plant, this is, I think it's called New England Aster. And
pretty.
you see that when you drive around in with the goldenrod. It's a native plant, and it's really one of the most important plants for insects and birds that are migrating, because because it's native, it's got the most, would you call it protein or food, because it's been around for so many years, it's acclimated to the native creatures around here. And like right now, I can see all these honeybees are flying all over it right now. Because that's one of the main plants that's still blooming now.
Right, so that's an important one for the bees.
Right. This is a honeysuckle, a climbing one. So that would be something that probably the hummingbirds would like. I planted some, those are short dahlias, and that's, spider plant. It's just something different because those things will bloom all season, where some of the plants, like the asters, won't come out till fall. So you like to try to have a few different types of plants. I've got some zinnias, which the butterflies love. And that's Coreopsis. That's a annual, but a really nice plant.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And there's a lot of bee balm. So see, the bee balm is gone, but there are seeds here that like birds would go for. And here's purple coneflower, and that's gone to seed. I'm not going to cut any of those down because it's going to help the creatures throughout the winter.
Right. Give them something.
And during the winter, if certain things flop and get buried, I might end up cutting them down some during the winter, but I never cut everything down.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
What do we have
and over here, can you still hear me?
Yep, looks great.
Okay. All right, this is a limelight hydrangea.
Wow.
And see how long these blooms are? Like even now they're drying up, but they still look good. Anything that you get that's a hydrangea, they'll go for, I'd say, at least 3 months. You have interest for 3 months or even more. They're just a great plant.
Yeah.
This kind, you I looked it up this morning. If you want to prune it, you do that in late winter, early spring.
Okay. So like March kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or yeah, March would be good. All these are the cone flowers gone to seed, and there's still a little bit of phlox blooming, and you can see pink asters over here too, pink and the purple. More phlox.
Oh yeah.
I've got a couple dahlias I haven't dug up yet. That's one of them. It's a dark one with a yellow leaf.
That's so pretty.
And I hate to say I forgot what this is called, but this is a native plant. So those are good to have.
Yeah.
It's got like an anise smell to it.
Huh. Interesting.
And I've got some more dahlias and cone flowers, and this whole area here, these were bee balm.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave the whole thing for the creatures.
Yeah, and you can use the leaves for tea.
I have not done that, but I'd like to try that because I like tea. So
It's good. I grab them fresh and then stick some of them in a dehydrator, but I bet they wouldn't be bad even if they're a little bit past their prime.
Right. Well, it looks like some of the leaves are still good, so we'll try that.
Yeah.
This is a blueberry. See how nice they look in the fall?
Oh yeah, that's a gorgeous color.
And I let the birds eat all that. It's not worth even picking for me. And behind it, this is an elderberry plant.
Mm-hmm.
And I got those because the birds love to eat those. The one thing I would caution on elderberries, first of all, they're hard to find around here. Oh, I had to get them through the mail maybe 10 years ago. They sucker underground, which I never knew that when I bought it.
Yeah.
Like a sumac does.
Yeah.
So you have to watch where you put it. You don't want it in your favorite garden because it'll take over.
Right. Wow.
And another good one I have here, right there in the back, that's Joe Pieweed. I think it's Little Joe. So I think the ones you see in the field are even taller than that. And that's supposed to be a native that's good for all the wildlife.
Yeah. It's tall.
Yep. And we planted, we make sure we have a crab apple with small crabs. If the crab apple is too big, the birds won't eat it. So this is a particularly small berry, just the size, and the birds will take all those off over time. And one of my very favorite bushes is the serviceberry, and I have I think about 4 of those. Here's one, and they can get fairly big. There's one. Yeah. And what they have a even smaller berry. In the spring, they get a white flower, then they get the berry, and then in the fall, you get pretty color. And they're very easy to care for, and they're native, so those are great.
Yeah, I'm learning so much. I've got a little list here of things I want to put in.
Oh, yeah. That's a hawthorn, and they're really good. They get like a berry, too. I think I've seen the birds on this. This one has a little bit bigger berry.
Oh, yeah.
See the berries on that. And some of the native ones, I've got one that came from one of the Audubon places. That one has thorns on it, hawthorn. So this one, they must have got the thorns off it.
Bred that out, yeah. Oh, wow.
And then I have like a grass, and I got these from downtown, one of the native places, this is the spice bush.
Okay.
And those host the spice bush butterfly.
Oh.
And if you rub it, it smells spicy, very nice, easy to care for. In fact, Beaver Lake has them throughout their woods. And I never knew what they were because, look, if you just look at it, it's just pretty basic looking.
Yeah.
Couldn't even know what the plant was, but once you have one and when you see it when it's in bloom, because it has a very tiny bloom, then you start recognizing it. And sedum, the red,
oh, yeah.
very nice for insects. And you don't have to do anything to take care of that. They never need water, so because they're succulents.
Yeah.
I just really plant a variety of things and every year decide if I need to move or give things away because everything gets bigger. And you want to share with everybody so they don't have to buy everything and everybody can make the world a nicer place. So
wonderful.
This is just a little succulent area.
Oh, yeah.
I bought this one late in the season. I don't buy a lot anymore because I don't have the room because everything grows. But both of these I think I got locally. And they stopped blooming. I cut the blooms off and they rebloomed even this late in the season. So that was a real nice thing. Even the dianthus, all three of these. So some things will rebloom, which is great.
Yeah, they're so pretty too.
Yeah, and there's the cut down peony, one of them. And that's basically most of the garden that I can think of that you might want to see.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for showing us around. You have a very beautiful yard. I love
thank you.
Love hearing
Thank you.
about all the native species as well, because I know that's what our local wildlife likes the best. So
right. Yep. If we had known 20 years ago, we would have had more planted.
Yeah.
Well, but now we know, and we can replace things.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you have a lot of good stuff that our local bees and birds and other insects will probably really appreciate.
Yeah, we try.
Great.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Joy, and to all of our viewers, thank you for tuning in. If you have any other Ask the Experts that you would like to see, let us know. You can get in touch with us at info@pacbtv.org. All right, thank you, and thanks again, Joy. Have a good rest of your day.
Okay, thank you, Kim.
Bye.
Bye.